Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And Megan, exciting when you were right about something and it comes to the fruition and you get to review it again.
What are we talking about today?
Talking about the Brooks Hyperion Elite 4, but I did 4, but there's something exciting about the 4 this time. It's got what I like to call PEBA Gold. When we reviewed this shoe earlier, we were like, we really like it, except for this crummy foam they had on there, the super critical foam. They replaced it. It's the exact same shoe, exact same tooling, everything's exactly the same, but the foam. And the foam is new, which makes me really feel validated. And when we talked to Brooks at the running event, they even said that the comments that they heard from the video did make a difference and did do something. I happen to think that this shoe wouldn't have come out like this if the response hadn't been what it had been, and that you would have just gotten the 5, which has all new tooling. This is just, they just put the foam in the shoe. So let's break it down again for people who didn't watch the first review or are just interested in hearing more about the shoe.
Yeah, so you have a very, what I would say, typical race-like upper where
You think this is typical?
it's super minimal. So there's not much to it. It fits snugger, so it like hugs your foot. You don't have like that wide open toe box for your toes display. It kind of like hugs it all and sucks it all down, but it's in a very, very, very light package.
Okay, I'll just let you slide on that one. We've got this open, I don't even know what to call it, weaving. It's almost like somebody's grandmother made a sweater, but it was a super technical sweater. And you can see how it's like, as it went through the weaving process, where they left it open so that you'd have some more breathability, where it's tighter for support. I actually think it's one of the most innovative, coolest uppers we've seen in a long time, and it fits really well.
I would say that grandma had a lot of interest in the Vaporfly when she was weaving.
Well, I don't know, or doilies. The upper I thought was really nice.
It's identical to the Vaporfly upper.
No, it is not.
It's identical. I put both shoes on and it looked so similar. It was crazy.
You're ridiculous. Do we have a Vaporfly here?
I looked, it's not here.
I disagree with it. This actually looks like someone hand knit it. The Vaporfly looks machined. The tongue is stitched in here on one side. It's not like fully gusseted, but it works really well the way it is like locked in. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought there's this little bit of padding around the collar here that it's just enough that it makes it comfortable when you like tie up the laces real tight, but it's so minimal that it keeps the shoe really light. All
right, a lot of times plated shoes give you a little issue with heel lift, or the collar is kind of janky. What did you think about the heel counter and the collar?
Yeah, I had no issues. Once I tied my shoes, it was like they were locked down.
Yeah, it does. I thought this upper fits extremely well. Nothing like the Vaporfly that you speak of. Anyway, let's get down. We talked about it. It's the magic of this shoe. It's what takes this shoe from sort of like an okay shoe to, hey, this one's ready to compete.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
The PEBA Gold, as we're calling it, or Brooks is calling it, or everyone's calling it.
Does that not sound like something you'd spread on a sandwich?
Yeah.
I'll take some of that.
Would you like a PEBA and Gold on that
I like
bread?
that, yeah. Maybe that's what it is, peanut butter. Peanut butter gold.
Okay. So anyway, this peanut butter is really good. The first thing it reminded me of was actually the Puma Elite shoe in its bounce and responsiveness and lightness and just the
way it goes through the stride.
Yeah, it felt like the most similar race day shoe to me was that shoe, which is a really great race day shoe.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. The Eris plates back in here, it's something that I find interesting that they call it the Speed Vault. But again, if you're not familiar with it, it's not just a shrink to the shoe size. It actually, the geometry changes in the webbing to kind of give you the most for your foot size as it goes up and down in sizes, which I think is an interesting take on the plate. And I think for this, I think you can feel it in the shoe. Can you?
Yeah, the one thing I will say is that I've learned about myself is that I really prefer that mechanical feel underfoot. So I like that decoupled that you get in an Alphafly or a Saucony Endorphin Elite, that like very aggressive feel underfoot, whereas this shoe is gonna give you that very smooth, fast feeling underfoot.
Yeah, I kind of equate it to like, if you ran like track or anything like that, this has that evolution of like the spike up into a race day for marathon feel. I really do like a shoe that has that little bit of a sensation under the forefoot. I don't necessarily need the AirPods to get there. Some of the foams, like you mentioned, the Endorphin Elite 2 that just came out, that definitely has that bounce. And I even think somewhat in the Metaspeed Paris Sky, you get that little, or is it the Edge that has more of the drop? The Edge gives you that like feeling on the sensation underneath there. I would even say the Adidas Adios Adizero Pro 4, you get that like kind of extreme toe rocker. This doesn't have that as much of an extreme lift off, but I really have to give them credit for like really improving the shoe just with the foam. So it was, I think, a good design, just needed the right ingredients. Just to finish off the shoe, outsole here, plenty of rubber.
Yeah, actually quite a bit, and a pretty thick layer of it for a race day shoe.
What about traction? Did you feel like it provided enough?
Yeah, plenty of traction. I think this will also give you a few more miles out of a typical race day shoe. And I think what's really great about this shoe is the simplicity. It's like so light. The upper is barely there.
When you say light, how much is it for you?
So this is 5.7 ounces for women, 7.5.
And for me, it is 7.4 ounces or 211 grams, which is exactly the same weight as the Vaporfly for me. So when she said the Vaporfly, maybe I don't agree on the upper, but I gotta agree on the weight.
Yeah, and I do think it falls into that Vaporfly category of it's this like nimble, light race shoe where for me personally, I would want this for maybe the half marathon and below, but I'm choosing that more mechanical shoe for the marathon.
Okay, so now that we've given it praise for all of these different things that we like about it, I do have to give it a little knock on something. And I didn't feel it as much when the foam was like firm from the other version. But when I was running in this one, and I love a narrow shoe, and I love a narrow, like, on rails running experience. The sleekness of this midsole, I did notice it when I was like, it almost feels a little unstable, a little bit on ice skates, a little bit like that edge. I think if you're a really efficient runner that has a really neutral stride, it's gonna like be grease lightning under your foot. It'll be great. But anybody who wants a little bit of stability or wants that wider platform under the forefoot, you're gonna be missing that. And I also found, even with my narrow foot, like especially like where most people would have a bunion, I don't know if you've ever seen one of those, but your foot does extend over the midsole, at least mine did. And I have a very normal bump there. It extended over the midsole there a little bit, so it's not a wide platform shoe.
I definitely have to agree with you, and as someone who does not have the prettiest feet in the world, you're definitely going to see any angulars.
She's being modest. They're beautiful.
In the upper here.
OnlyFans page coming up.
All right, let's get into form, fit, and function.
All right, I think we agreed on this one.
Yeah, we think we did.
So Meg, what was your score?
So for form, I gave it 4 out of 5. So I gave this 4 out of 5, kind of what you were just talking about with the stability there. It is a little bit narrow in design and build. Aesthetically, it's just okay.
Yeah, and I gave it a 4, mostly for the fact that it's almost bad. I've already seen the 5, and I'm so excited about what that looks like, that this already kind of looks a little bit stodgy, I don't know. And I actually like the color, and I know that they didn't want to cause too much confusion, but I like the colorway of the previous model a lot better. This kind of has like this oatmeal green leaf.
What is
blue.
oatmeal green?
This oatmeal in the front.
That's white.
Okay. It's off-white. I call it oatmeal. I'm an artist.
You eat some weird oatmeal.
I do. And then you got this leafy green in the sky. I don't know. This doesn't scream, I want to go fast. Race colors to me, but whatever.
All right, fit, we're going 5 out of 5 for this guy. I thought this fit really well, and like I said in the beginning of this review, like a race day shoe does. So it's that snug fit, it hugs your foot, but it fit true to size.
Yeah, I really like this unique weaving that they did here. So I also gave it a 5 out of 5. I think it fits great. I did mention that it kind of comes out a little bit over the midsole, but I don't think that that's a fit issue. That's more like a design issue, and we've already kind of knocked it for that.
Okay, the last one, function. I gave this 4 out of 5, mainly because, and this is totally a preference thing, I just prefer a different style of shoe, that more mechanical feel, underfoot, the decoupling, the AirPods, the extra fancy stuff for the marathon. So this one would strictly be those shorter distance races for me.
I gave it a 4 out of 5, only because, again, it's a preference thing. I like a little more of that, like you said, a little more. Is it proprioception that you're getting when you kind of bounce off the front?
I want to feel
it?
like the shoe is doing the work.
Yeah, I want the help.
Yeah.
You're still doing the work, but you want to feel that bounce, that kick, a little more exaggerated toe spring, maybe a little more foam under the front just to give it that kickoff. That would be ideal for me. So that's where I'm going to give it a little bit of knock. Like if I was looking at this and we had the lineup of shoes, there's a certain shoes I would put in one group, Vaporfly, this shoe. I'm trying to think of another one that I would throw over there. Probably Metaspeed Sky, all in that section. And then the other shoes that kind of have that like a little more of a wow factor for speed day. Endorphin Elite 2, Alpha Fly. There's some other ones, which doesn't necessarily mean I wouldn't pick one of these. I love the Metaspeed Sky Paris for half distance was fantastic, phenomenal. But I think, yeah, for the longer distance, I'm gonna pick a shoe that has a little more like that, hey, like giving you the feedback.
The final note on this is it is available Feb 1 for $250. So that's pretty much the going rate for race day shoes. Actually, we're seeing them closer to $275, $300 now.
I think the new Vaporfly is coming out in April at $260.
Yeah, so $250 maybe is a bargain. All right, so if you haven't yet, definitely go like this video, subscribe to our channel, check us out on all the other channels we have. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Strava, you name it.
Yeah, and if you think this shoe is oatmeal colored, you go ahead and leave a comment and tell Megan she's crazy. That's not white, that's oatmeal.
That is the craziest oatmeal.
All right, whatever. Stay till the end of this video and you'll get nothing else. I do agree with you on the certain fact that when it comes to, hold on, I feel like there's a hair. There's like a hair.
Dude, there's a bunch of hairs on your face.
Is it, did I not shave?
They're like right here.
Okay, mostly in that area. All right, anyway.